This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com. And sadly, last week, the wrestling world lost a true legend, the Iron Sheik, WWE Hall of Famer. And tonight we have a man who I guess you could call him a super agent. He represents a lot of the wrestlers, particularly, in my experience, the ones from the 1980s, including Iron Sheik, who he famously had an incident with the Ultimate Warrior at one point. So, Eric Sims from ESS Promotion, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Good. How are you? Yeah, it's been a whirlwind week to say the least. I guess the news broke last Wednesday, and I was at work. I was at work, and again, I didn't know. I'm not on the cell phone too much or what's going on, and I started getting a couple text messages that said Sheik died. Sheik died. It's like, okay. So I'm trying to just text around and call around and find out what's going on, and it's they said, oh, the news will break soon. So I just kind of waited till the news broke and just read it along with everybody else, and it's kind of end of an era. It's just a sad day.
Had he been suffering for a while? Because I don't recall him doing all that many appearances in the past several years.
I think the last time I worked with him was around 2012, and then he was kind of like done there. And but he did a couple. He did a couple little appearances. He went out with the Megan Boys for a couple things here and there. And I think the last big appearance that I saw him at was Wrestlecon New York City back in 2018. Then I used to call him every week. Our usual, catching up with each other. Hey, guys, how you doing? How's the family? Go back and forth. It's like, hey, guys, you want to go out? You want to go back on the road? You want to do one last appearance? You want to just come back, say hello, goodbye to your fans? Whatever. One last tour. It's like, Bubba, I'd love to call me next week, which turn into the next week, turn into the next week, turn into the next week. Or he said, Eric Bubba, I don't know. I don't feel good. My knee, my ankle, my energy low. I don't know. Call me another time. Call me next week. So it's just on and on and on. And it was kind of the same thing. Like sometimes he started off bad, but sometimes he started off good. And then it went to bad as I was talking to him. And the conversations were always short when I recently was talking with him, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then he just wanted to get off the phone and just, I guess, rest. But that's kind of how it was.
He had stopped using drugs too in the last bunch of years, didn't he? From what I understand, due to all of his health issues, he was living a pretty normal life.
Once he got off the road, like 2012, 13, when he was back home with the family and not touring anything, yeah, that all stopped. That all stopped, and became family man. The family started taking care of him, and then the grandkids were around him, and whatever. So maybe occasional beer here or there, but no more drugs. Because again, the family's not going to supply the drugs. The drugs came when he was on the road, and wherever wherever we were, the drug dealers or the people that do that shit, always showed up. I never did it. I never gave him anything, and I try to keep the riffraff away, and always. Sometimes I put the bodyguard around to make sure none of that happened. But it's the Sheik, and sometimes that stuff, drugs find drugs. I mean, it's just and it's and he's such a powerful force that it's just like nothing. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it. So.
Someone's asking if you have any funny moments you could share with the audience.
Well, I mean, funny moments. Things were kind of serious. I go to pick him up at the air. I go to pick him up in the airport. God forbid I'm 5 minutes late. And he's screaming. Like, I'm in the car. He's out of the car, like, that baggage claim. But like when you come outside, And like, you dumb son of a bitch, you late, you not professional. And then the cop's standing right there because he's already making a scene and stuff. This dumb son of a bitch, my agent, he's late. He's not ready for me to take him to Mr. McMahon. It's like the cops looking at me, just get him in the car. Just get him in the car. So I hurry up, I get him in the car. I'm starting to pull away. I pull away. He said, Eddie Bubba, good to see you. We don't want to smarten the marks up so much. And eventually the light bulb went on for me. It's like, that's my, I kind of figured out that's my role. My role has always been the foil to the Iron Sheik. I always, I always was the inept agent that couldn't do anything right, kept screwing things up, this and that. But in reality, I was the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings, making sure that he showed up on time. And everybody sees the finished product. The finished product is me showing up at whatever appearance I had to do. But you don't know what I had to go through to get to that appearance. With the drug, possible the drugs in the car, him drinking in the car. Drinking a beer in the car is illegal. At that time, doing drugs in the car is illegal. I could have been stopped. I could have had my car seized. You never know, with the crazy laws that they have here in the different states that we went through. So even though the Sheik was a powerful, big powerful wrestling star or big celebrity, so you get a cop that doesn't play ball with that, you're fucked.
Mitch Seinfeld wants to know about the Iron Sheik pants. Is this something?
Mitch. Yeah. So the Sheik, during our time together, the Sheik gave me a gift. It's the Iron Sheik Iran pants, and so I have them in my house, and it's a treasure that will always stay with me.
As far as how you met him, I don't know really how you recruit your wrestlers. I know you've been around the business a long time, but how did you end up bringing the Iron Sheik into?
So I met him at a Mitch Seinfeld's a wrestling promoter, and he used to work with Johnny Rods in New York, and he had a promotion over there. So I met him at a Mitch Seinfeld Johnny Rods show back in I forget the year. I think it was 86 or 87. I just my timeline's a little off, but somewhere around that time period, I met him at that show, and we just got along. We met. Someone put a good word in, I guess, and we just clicked, and we just decided, hey, let's see what we can do here. Let's just and I was just breaking in back then, and just needed someone to help put me on the road. And when you're young, you're breaking in. You got to pay your dues, and I guess that's how I paid my dues, and it's amazing. Because he's a full-fledged Iranian. I'm a Jewish American, so like Iranians and Jews are not supposed to get along, and there's a lot of turmoil with that. But we got along great, and things just worked out, and you can see a lot of our stuff on the YouTube and other social media platforms that we've done throughout the years. So it's like it just built from that, and for 26 years. So we just clicked.
Someone on here was asking, did the Iron Sheik ever slap you before or after the Ultimate Warrior?
No. Well, before the Ultimate Warrior, no. After the Ultimate Warrior stuff, which is well documented, it's on YouTube, and if you want, I'll tell the story. I've told it a million times. I'll tell it again. And he did it again when we're touring with Killers of Comedy. That's the Howard Stern comedy touring troupe, and we were up in Buffalo. And they got him fucking piss ass drunk, and we're in a hotel. And I was on the tour. I was on that tour with them, and it was supposed to. I was being brought along to keep control of him. But what happens when everybody's fucking drunk? And when he gets drunk, it's bad. It just intensifies. And then when doing a little of the medicine, the marijuana, it just intensifies everything. And sometimes he just gets out of control. So it just lost it a little bit. But that's yes. So the answer is before no, after yes.
What was his problem with the Ultimate Warrior? Was that just a publicity stunt, or did he have
No, well, I mean, I don't know the prior history to them, but I'll tell you the story. So, and you saw it on the YouTube as well. We were at this convention in Edison, New Jersey. I think it was a sports fan or collectibles, baseball, football, a bunch of multimedia sports guests were there. I was there with the Iron Sheik and Bruno Sammartino and at one table, and Warrior was at another table. I think Hogan was at another spot there. And somehow there was a message that went around that the Ultimate Warrior didn't want to see anybody or interact with anybody outside of his fans. Bruno had to go to the bathroom. Bruno Sammartino. So Bruno had to go to the bathroom on the way back, saying, "Hey, let's stop by to say hello to the Ultimate Warrior. Maybe get a picture. It's good photo, good publicity." So Bruno went over, shook his hand, and everything was good. Warrior was very polite to him, very respectful for him. I took Bruno back and I said, the Chic, let's go over there. So a little later, we went over there to shake his hand. And what you saw in the video, he didn't want to shake his hand. He wanted him to go away. Evidently, he insulted him or he badmouthed him or did something, back in previous time, and it got a little bit ugly and it got a little heated. Sheik tried to de-escalate it. Warrior said, "No, don't. I don't want to shake your hand. Go back to your table." And Sheik don't want to get embarrassed, so he starts blowing up at him, and then I try to de-escalate it, and then he turns his energy on me, and then after some jaw jacking, he slapped me, which everybody saw. And what am I gonna do? I mean, the Sheik slaps me. If I turn around and hit him back and knock him out, I'm an asshole for for knocking out the legend. Or if I hit him and then he kicks my ass, which he's supposed to do because he's a celebrity and this and that, then I'm still an asshole. So did what was best thing. I just took him. We walked away, and we lived to see another day. And we talked about it afterward. We apologized, and we put a couple safeguards in place for the future. And it's the YouTube video is 17 years old now because it happened in 2006. So it just it's just one of those things, and that helped propel me to get to Howard Stern. And I'm thinking to myself, because once this is going on, I'm thinking to myself, somebody's going to be filming this. This is going to end up on YouTube or some type of whatever the social media platform was back in 2006. It's going to end up somewhere, and it's this is not going to be good. So I was waiting for it, and eventually it showed up. So how do you make chicken salad out of chicken shit? And I had to figure that out, and how to figure out how to profit from this, and how to make it good, and how to use that as a platform to other things. And I figured it out. We got to Howard Stern, 6 months later or whatever, and a year later, and it just worked itself out.
Do you mind if I show the slap thing?
Show the video. Everybody else is.
For the people that haven't seen it, okay. Here
show it. Everybody else is.
Oh! What the fuck you did to me? You tried to steal my fucking gimmick? This man know where I come from, and I know he come from. What the fuck you bring me here?
No. Well, you need to get security.
Fuck you and fuck the security. I respect like those you say, no? You treat you like that? I know you're from Georgia, man. That was his fucking fault. Don't fucking tell me I get started. You're a fucking asshole. You bring me here to treat me like that? That was your fucking fault. I respect you, man. I know you're from Georgia, but don't never ever insult me again.
I cringe every time I see that, because I don't want to see, I guess it's part of the lore of our thing, but it's just to me it's uncomfortable watching that. But whatever. I mean, he slapped me, it didn't hurt me, it stunned me. I wasn't looking directly at him. I looked away, and then he came and boom, and
yeah,
whatever.
you didn't sell it. You didn't sell it at all. You just took it.
It just, yeah, well, it was a shoot. So it's just, yeah, I mean, if I knew it was part of the work, I would just, I would have sold it a little better. But again, that was 100% shoot. I didn't know he was going to do that. And, again, I could take being yelled at. I could be, being ridiculed, being called. But once you get physical with me, that changes everything. I mean, that literally just changes. I don't like that. Don't put your hands on me. I mean, if you want to goof on me, you want to mess with me, you want to do whatever, great. It's part of the game. I get it. Don't get physical with me. And as part of a shoot, I mean, if you want to work something, I know what's coming. I'm prepared for it. No big deal. But if you just come and just doing the shoot, not cool. And especially, if I can't fight back, because, one, I'm not going to beat up, fight an older guy. Two, I'm not going to fight in public with his cameras going on and this, and it's just a bad situation, and just, we just had to figure out how to, make it better, and we did.
And that was 2006 before everyone had camera phones. So if that had happened now,
well, somebody was filming. So
yeah,
and that was right at the start of that YouTube craze and whatever other social media. Like that was like right at the start of it.
Well, you can take a hit. I'll give you that because he was getting around pretty good there. He was walking without a cane or a wheelchair. So
yeah, he was okay. He was okay there. It's just like as the years went on after that, that's when he just started getting worse. But he's still limping around. But he was okay. He was okay there.
I remember you. I think at WrestleCon, maybe it was 2013, in a neck brace. Was that an angle?
So yeah, let me tell that story. So I was at a PWS show in New Jersey. They had ran a big show. I had Sabu, Eugene, a couple other guys over there. There was a big match going on between Johnny Morrison and Liger, Jushin Thunder Liger. They wanted Sabu to do something with the match, but Sabu kept turning him down because he didn't like the payday or whatever. They didn't want to pay him much or whatever the deal was. He didn't want to do anything. But then he wanted to do something on his own. But that something on his own never got cleared with the management of PWS. He said, I'm going to go to the ring, I'll just do a handshake. I'll just shake each one's hand, and that'll be it. So, he did that on his own. I told the sound guy to play Sabu's music. Because why is Sabu going to go out there without his music playing? It does, like everybody has music that goes out. But I didn't clear that with the management. So that and only that I take responsibility for. Everything else that happened with that, Sabu did on his own. But they're not gonna go after Sabu. They came after me. So I'm backstage and I get into it, Pat Buck, and then the little Eric Tapout guy, the other promoter. The next thing I know, Pat Buck's hits me with a shot. Throws a punch. And hits me, and I just stood there like, what the fuck? What the fuck are you gonna do? I mean, my grandmother hits harder than that. Then I turn around, and the other little nitwit sucker punches me the other way, knocks my glasses off. But again, didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing to me. I was just standing there because big guy and I could take it. I'm just mad I didn't defend myself or wasn't quick enough to. Just do a block and counter or just do a block or anything, and then finally, Kevin Matthews, he's a big 6 foot jacked up, Adonis, like he's a real big, strong guy. And I guess he's their muscle or something over there. And he's the coach over at for WrestlePro over there and right now and does, whatever. So, me and him were squaring off. and like we were like pulling each other's shirts and this and that. No punches were being thrown, but like he, this is a big 6'5" jacked up guy. He couldn't do anything with me, and I kind of, while no punches were thrown, in the eyes of whoever witnessed that, I got the better of him, and then it got broken up, and then I eventually left with my talent and stuff, and they told me, yeah, why don't you sell it a little bit? I was shooken up a little bit, but not hurt. Just you get into altercation, shit happens, but nothing. I wasn't hurt or anything. He said, why don't you sell? Put the neck brace on. Eugene told me this. Put the neck brace on and sell it. So that's why you saw me with a neck brace at Wrestlecon Meadowlands on 2013. So that's kind of the story. That's kind of the story with that.
Yeah, and I do remember the Iron Sheik was very vocal during that, and he was good at getting people to come sign autographs by staying in character the whole time.
Yeah. Well, Sheik's a character. Sheik's a character. So, you put the spotlight on him, he's going to turn it on, and he's going to turn it up, and he's going to find whatever he can to get over. So, that's kind of what he did.
Someone wants to know if the Iron Sheik ever took steroids like everyone else in the 80s, to your knowledge. You wouldn't have known him.
If he did, I don't know, because he never did it with me. I mean, he did, marijuana, and he mostly did marijuana with me. He may have done a couple other things, but he did marijuana. That's what he was known for, doing the marijuana. We'll call it medicine, and that's kind of what he did. And he drank the beers, and tons of beers.
How was going on Howard Stern with him? Because that was you were there for that.
So how that happened was we were originally we were promoting some type of convention we were at in New Jersey, and we hooked up with the Pharrell show, which is on Howard, which at the time was on Howard is on the Sirius 100, and he had a sister station 101, and he had a bunch of alternative shows on that. So the night show was the sports show with Scotty Farrell. If you don't know, Shake It Up, the voice like that. So we went on there, and Chic was literally on fire on that show. They mentioned the Brian Blair, the Ultimate Warrior, and it's and Chic just went off and on and on and on and on about that, and fuck Brian Blair, and I fuck him in the ass, I make him humble, and the Macho Man and his drug, sharing the drug, and Jake's 8-ball, and this and that, and it got over so good. Hey, we got to pass these tapes off to the Stern show. So they got the tapes to the Stern show. 3 weeks later, I got the phone call. We want the Sheik in the studio. So, I called guys and I said, hey, we're coming to New York. You're coming to New York. You're doing the Stern show. I set it up when we had a tour of something else. So, he came in. We did. It was crazy because I think we were going on a Monday. I forget the actual day, but one of the days. So to me, one of the major bucket list things was the Stern show, because I'm a super fan of the Stern show, at least at the time. I mean, and when we had our final dinner on a Sunday night, and I got him to the hotel, and I said, I'm staying in the room with you, and I went into complete lockdown. Because I know with the Sheik anything can happen. I cut him off from the outside world. I didn't want anything to happen to ruin anything for the Stern show. And then the next morning we got up, we got in the car, we met the other people, and we just drove into the city, and we just did the Stern show, and it just went over really good. I mean, he went in there, they did their thing. Bubba Love Sponge was there. He got to play Lord of the Anal Ring Toss, and he actually won Lord of the Anal Ring Toss. And if you don't know what that is, a girl, one of these stripper girls or whatever. You go, they bend over, they show the arch, they put that little stick in the ass, and you got to throw these rings, and like ring toss. You throw the ring onto the thing like at the carnivals or stuff or the games. So they did that version with the girl. They put the stick in the ass, and they so he got a couple of them, and he won, and he actually won. So that was a cool thing, and that show translated into doing. We were on there 4 times between 2007 and 2009, and there you go, great picture there, and I made it in studio 3 out of the 4 times. I didn't get to go in the first time he was on. I didn't get to go in, but the second, third, and fourth time I got to go in, and they finally figured out that me and him, are the act. His Sheik's accolades on his own is, everybody knows that, and it's well documented by a bunch of documentaries and the A&E thing I was just on. So like that stuff you knew about, but like the social media and all that extra stuff, me and him were the act. And they kind of figured out that I have to I'm the foil for him, and I play off of him, and we did really great doing that stuff. And I wanted to use the Stern Show as a stepping stone for other things. We got the Killers of Comedy, which is the touring comedy group at the time from the Stern Show with Reverend Bob Levy and Shuley and Beetlejuice and Jim Florentine and maybe 1 or 2 other comedians that got put in there. And then, so he toured with them for a little bit, and that went over really, really good. And, I'm looking to, go to the next level. I even had a reality TV. I was in talks with Bunham Murray. That's the producers of Total Divas and the Bella Twins show, Total Bellas, and like those type of shows. They were in touch. I was in contact with them, hoping to get something going, but it just nothing ever materialized off of that. But I did actually talk to them.
Yeah, that would have been a good reality show. Someone wants to know if you got along with the midget on the show, which was Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Beetle. I met Beetle a couple times, and what you see is what you get. Beetle legitimately is a retarded little midget. I mean, it's that's who he was, and that wasn't an act. That's literally what you see is what you get. And he needed 24-hour supervision. Someone might not be right on top of him, but like in the background, someone was there just to make sure he didn't get into trouble. But there was a lot of supervision going on for Beetlejuice.
Did the Iron Sheik ever tell you how much he was paid to lose the title to Hulk Hogan? Someone wants to know.
No. I mean, you hear the stories about the Vern Gagne, about the $100,000 and this and that. But again, Sheik is under contract to WWE. You do what your promoter asks of you. So he beat the way they were going was they wanted to get the belt off of Backlund to eventually give it to Hogan, but they don't want both of those guys going at each other. So the Sheik was the Sheik was the choice to go at the time. The Sheik was hot with the Middle East stuff going on and all that stuff. So they put the belt on the Sheik, and then a month later moved it over to Hogan. So how much money he made, I don't know. Whatever was in his contract or the agreement or whatever the agreement was. I wasn't privy to any of that stuff. But I mean, it's well documented. You saw what happened. It's been played a million times. The towel gets thrown in on Backlund. He's the champion. The leg drop comes on Sheik. Hogan's the champ. New era starts. Sheik gets moved into either tag team or the Duggan stuff. Then Sheik couldn't control himself and he gets caught up with the drugs. Boom, he's gone for a little bit. Then sporadically makes appearances back and forth with WWE, WCW, independents, and that's that. And if Sheik was able to control his his bad habits, he probably would have gone a lot higher than he did, and probably made a lot more money, than he did. But his bad habits always got in the way of bigger and better things. And I think the promoters, while they loved him and knew he was good business for certain things, didn't want to invest too much for the big picture, because they can trust him.
Someone wants to know what the Iron Sheik thought of Pat Patterson. Did he ever have any stories about any of?
He loved Patterson because Patterson's a great booker and had a good mind, and I know everybody wants to go, yes, Patterson was gay, and but who cares? A lot of people were gay up there at that time. Everything was just kept quiet, and whatever. But Pat was a good guy. Pat was a good guy, and he did the books. He helped a lot of people out. So I don't know all the inner wranglings because I wasn't there, so I can't really talk too much about that because I don't know. You just hear the stories, and if they're true, they're true. If they're not, I don't know. But the stories sound good.
Now, one story that Brian Blair told us was that the feud with the Iron Sheik supposedly started when he tapped out the Iron Sheik numerous times on a house show, and then Sheik always held a grudge for that. Is that the truth, or did
I don't know that to be the truth. During the social media kick, Sheik went on a shoot. Was interviewed on one of those shoot videos up in Boston, and it just came out that with the Brian Blair thing from WrestleMania 3 and the break your back, and and just that got heard one time and then pretty much went viral, and that kind of made him, and now everybody wanted to hear him say that and go crazy on everybody else. And he asked me, Eddie, Bubba, what do I do? I mean, I said, guys, go for it. No filter. Don't hold back. This is gonna revive your career. This is gonna revive you in a different way. You're not wrestling anymore. You're not doing anything. You're showing up for signings. Say these things. You never know. Let's see where it goes. And you saw where it went.
Now, you also represent Marty Genetti, who I'm interviewing this weekend, and he's got a bunch of appearances with you. How's he doing these days, and can you tell us about those appearances?
Marty's doing okay. He's not, he has a problem. He's had some foot surgery, and he's battling problems with his foot, but he's a real trooper. He's doing good, and he's going to make a bunch of appearances this coming weekend. So Friday, June 16th, we're going to be up in Albany, New York at the Heroes Hideout. That's at Colony Center over by Albany Airport, right out. There's a mall right on Wolf Road, right by Albany Airport. We're going to be there, Heroes Hideout, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, we move to Springfield, Massachusetts, and we're going to be at the Wrestling Classic 3 over there at the community center. And then he's going to do a virtual with the Captain's Corner. So if anybody watches the Captain's Corner feeds, he's going to do that, and he's going to be with you right here for Hannibal TV doing an interview for you. So we've got a pretty busy weekend for Marty, and if you want to show up there, great. We'd love to see you, and if you can't, go on my Facebook page, the Eric Sims Facebook page, and I have photos listed there for sale, and you can purchase them there and just message me. We'll take care of you.
Now, I understand he's going to be the subject of, I think he's the last episode of Dark Side of the Ring, or one of the last ones, and they followed him around for like 2 or 3 days, which is the most they've ever spent time with one wrestler. Did he tell you anything about that?
Well, again, there's a non-disclosure that, so he can't talk too much about what's going on, but from what they're saying, it's going to be one of the best episodes ever. It's like a wild episode, but he didn't, due to the non-disclosure, he can't talk about that. So he really didn't say too much, but he's excited for it, and he can't wait to can't wait to see it. He's happy that he's the main event, the last segment. So like he's happy about that. And there's a lot of great segments on there too with other talents. But it's going to be a wild one, and I suggest everybody tune in when that airs, because it's going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, I think they're calling it The World According to Marty or something like that.
He's certainly, I love him to death, but he's certainly in his own world.
Yeah. And I guess you're excited about that too, because that should actually boost his bookings. That's such a popular show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Marty was out for, his foot was bad, so he was out for a while. He didn't make too many appearances, over the last I don't know, year or two or so. But now he's starting to come out a little bit. So he's he's making this set of appearances for me for this weekend. And you never know. I mean, he has to go back for some surgery, and who knows what's going to happen. So if you want to see Marty, this might be your only chance to see him. So come out to Heroes Hideout in Albany and the Wrestling Classic in Springfield, Mass. At the community center up there. I mean, we've got a lot of great talent that's going to be up there with Kurt Angle and Dallas Page and the Dudley, one of the Dudley boys, and Lex Luger, and a couple other people are going to be up there. So it's going to be the Godfather's going to be up there. So it's going to be a really good convention, and I look forward to seeing all the fans in the New England area or Springfield area up there. So come out and support pro wrestling and these conventions. We're the lifeblood of these things. So if you support it, we continue to do this. If you don't support it, then you might not see the wrestlers up in that area anymore, or anywhere, if you don't support that stuff.
And I've been to Heroes Hideout to cover one of their events there, and it's a great place. I'll ask Marty this, Jamie, why he never got his ankle repaired, unless he has it repaired.
Well, no, he has done. He's had surgery. So, and the surgery didn't go too well. And Marty explained this a little more. And the surgery didn't go too well. They finally got it to where he's okay, because it was really touch and go for a while. But he's okay now, where he can make his appearances, and they just got to go in and touch a couple things up, and hopefully he'll be good to go. But you never know. So if you're ever thinking about going out to see Marty Genetti, this weekend is the weekend to do it. Heroes Hideout in Albany, and then Wrestling Classic in Springfield, Mass. And come out. We love to see him. Get a picture, get a photo with Marty.
There's a couple more fan questions here. Did it ever come out why the Iron Sheik passed?
No, it was a shock to me too. No, I mean, he was under the weather for a while, but I didn't know him to be like deathly ill. He's always like, my energy's low. I just don't, I'm not feeling good or this or that. But I didn't know he was like that close to dying. I just had no indications of that.
Someone wants to know, how was the Iron Sheik with the ladies at the club? We know he was married, but since he's such a character, did they keep their distance from him, or
Sheik was a devout Muslim. He never, as far as with me, never cheated, never did anything in a pro, outside of the norm of what happens at an autograph or an appearance. But no, he never, when he was with me, no, none of that, none of that stuff ever happened.
And last fan question I'll ask for today is, was someone, of course this is a yes, but was he receiving royalties from WWE for his merchandise and figures, and how much? I think that varies on how much they sell, right?
Yes, he was receiving royalties from WWE. How much? I don't know. I wasn't privileged to know that, but yeah, just like all the legends that that have like action figures or other stuff out. Yeah, they get a check from WWE.
And there was something that you have going on in Texas that you wanted to plug before we close things off.
So I'm doing a big private signing with some of the stars from World Class. I'm going down there to see Black Bart. Black Bart is not doing well. He currently has stage 4 colon cancer, which he's trying to fight like crazy. So he can't make any appearances. So I decided to go down to Texas to do a private signing with him. And then while I'm down there, I wanted to get hooked up with a couple other, like maybe world-class stars. So I hooked up with the Hollywood John Tatum and Brian Adias. So we're doing a private signing with those three guys. And to check my Facebook page, I posted some photos of Black Bart. And next week I'll showcase the Hollywood John Tatum and Brian Adias photos. And we're going to go down. And if you have anything to mail in, just message me on the Facebook, and you just send your items in to me, and we'll get them signed, and we'll get them back to you. And that takes place July 7 and 8. So you pretty much got till July 1st to get your items and get everything into me. With the crazy holiday week and the mail being off, I don't want anybody to miss out on anything. So get your stuff into me, and follow me on the Facebook, Eric Sims on Facebook, with all the promotions going on with that, the Icons convention in Philadelphia, where I have Jules Strongbow and Max the Impaler, a young talent from NWA in Japan, and Max is Max is a sight for sore eyes. And if you haven't seen Max the Impaler, check Max out, because Max is a star in the making.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing those stories and hooking us up with wrestlers over the years. I'll let you close this down with whatever you want to say to the fans about the Iron Sheik and where people can follow you to close things off.
Awesome. Well, I just want to thank everybody that knows me and the Iron Sheik. I just want to thank everybody for every time I go around, everybody says, "Oh, I seen your videotapes. I seen the shoot videos. I love what you do with the Sheik. I love the thank you for what you did." And I want to thank you, the fans, because without the fans, there's no Iron Sheik. Without the fans, there's no Eric Sims. There's no ESS. There's no Cult Hero. There's nothing. Without your support, we're nothing. So, I am truly thankful for the fans, and thanks for following me. I do a virtual merchandise show, live sales merchandise on the Eric Sims Facebook page. So you can check me out there. My website is ESSpromotions.com, and just check me out on social media, because I'm all over the place, and I tour all over, and I do the virtual show. So if you're looking for some wrestling merchandise, I pretty much have it, or can get it for you. And again, I thank everybody for your support. I've been doing this for 37 years, and without you guys, I couldn't do it. So thank you so much. I
got to get an Iron Sheik impression from you to close this off.
Oh, Devin, Hannibal. I love being on Hannibal TV. Devin, you are Eric Sims, Iron Sheik class. Devin, Hannibal, #1. Everybody else,
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates.